ever wonder how an empire could rise from a single island in the middle of a lake to rule over millions? Today, we're journeying back in time to the heart of ancient Mexico to uncover the story of the mighty Aztecs. It's a tale of incredible engineering, sophisticated culture, and a brutal power that shaped a continent. Most people picture the Aztecs in their magnificent capital, Tenochtitlan, a city of canals and pyramids that rivaled any in Europe. And it was truly a marvel, but their empire wasn't built on peace. It was forged through warfare and ritual sacrifice. Every neighboring city-state that Tlaxcalans, Texcocans, Chalcas, and others knew that defeat by the Aztecs didn't just mean paying tribute. It meant seeing their bravest warriors taken, their people subjugated, and their gods overshadowed by the fearsome Huitzilopochtli, the Aztec god of war and the sun. So, how did they become so powerful? The story begins with a prophecy. The nomadic Mexica people, who would later become the Aztecs, were told to build their home where they saw an eagle devouring a snake while perched on a cactus. After centuries of wandering, they found this exact sign on a small, swampy island in Lake Texcoco. Against all odds, they built their city there, a testament to their incredible ingenuity. Using chinampas or floating gardens, they created fertile land out of the marsh, allowing them to feed a growing population. This innovative spirit was the foundation of their strength. As Tenochtitlan grew, so did its ambitions. The Aztecs formed the Triple Alliance with the city-states of Texcoco and Tlacopan. This wasn't a partnership of equals. Tenochtitlan quickly became the dominant power. Their military was legendary. Aztec warriors were trained from a young age, with societal rank tied directly to their success in battle. Elite warrior societies like the Eagle and Jaguar Knights were the special forces of their day, feared throughout Mesoamerica. Their primary goal in battle wasn't always to kill the enemy on the spot, but to capture them. These captives were crucial for a central and chilling aspect of Aztec society. This is where the story takes a darker turn. The Aztecs believed their gods needed constant nourishment to keep the cosmos in balance. Specifically, they believed the sun god Huitzilopochtli required human hearts and blood to continue his daily journey across the sky. Without it, they thought the world would plunge into eternal darkness. This belief fueled a state-sponsored system of ritual sacrifice on a scale that's hard to comprehend. The Great Pyramids, like the Templo Mayor in the center of Tenochtitlan, weren't just monuments. They were massive stages for these public rituals. Captives from conquered territories were marched up the steep steps to meet their grim fate. Imagine being a neighboring city-state. You're constantly living under the threat of an Aztec campaign. These weren't just wars of conquest, they were flower wars or Exayoyotl. These were prearranged ritual battles, often with rival states like Tlaxcala, fought specifically to capture warriors for sacrifice. It was a terrifying form of psychological warfare. It kept their enemies in a perpetual state of fear and demonstrated the absolute power of the Aztec Empire. The tribute system was another pillar of their dominance. Conquered peoples were forced to send a steady stream of goods to Tenochtitlan. Food, textiles, precious metals, exotic feathers, and, of course, people for sacrifice. This constant influx of wealth made the Aztec capital one of the richest cities in the world, but it also sowed deep seeds of resentment among their subjects. The Tlaxcalans, in particular, fiercely resisted Aztec domination. They were one of the few city-states that the Aztecs never fully conquered. Their homeland was surrounded by Aztec territory, and they were engaged in almost constant warfare. This enduring hostility would later play a pivotal role in the downfall of the empire. They weren't just enemies, they were a symbol of defiance, a constant reminder that Aztec power, while immense, was not absolute. The Chalcas and Texcocans, despite one being a founding member of the Triple Alliance, also chafed under Tenochtitlan's heavy hand. Internal politics were complex, and loyalty was often a matter of convenience and survival. This complex web of power, fear, and tribute defined the Aztec world for nearly a century. Their society was a paradox. They were brilliant astronomers, poets, and artists. Their marketplace was so vast and well organized that the first Spaniards to see it were left speechless. They had mandatory education for both boys and girls, a concept unheard of in most of the world at the time. Yet, this sophisticated civilization was underpinned by a brutal ideology that demanded a constant flow of human life. The grand pyramids that touched the sky were built on a foundation of conquest and blood. The beautiful feathered headdresses worn by nobles were paid for by the toil and tribute of subjugated peoples. This system, however, was inherently unstable. An empire built on fear rather than loyalty has a critical weakness. While the Aztecs controlled a vast territory, they hadn't integrated the conquered peoples into a unified culture. They were subjects, not citizens. The resentment simmered just below the surface, waiting for a crack in the Aztec armor. And that crack appeared in 1519, in the form of strange ships on the horizon. When Hernan Cortes and his small band of conquistadors arrived, they didn't conquer the Aztec Empire alone. That's a common misconception. They were the catalyst. They exploited the deep-seated hatred that the Aztecs' subject peoples felt. The Tlaxcalans, seeing an opportunity to finally defeat their mortal enemies, allied with the Spanish. Thousands of indigenous warriors who had suffered under Aztec rule joined the fight. They saw the Spanish not as liberators, but as a weapon to be used against the oppressors who had taken their family members and bled their communities dry for generations. The fall of Tenochtitlan in 1521 was not just the end of a city. It was the collapse of an entire world order. It was a brutal, bloody siege, made worse by the introduction of European diseases like smallpox, to which the native population had no immunity. The very system of oppression the Aztecs had built became the instrument of their own destruction. The enemies they had cultivated for decades rose up alongside a new, unpredictable foe, and the mighty empire, forged in warfare, was ultimately consumed by it. The story of the Aztecs is a powerful lesson in history. It shows us that an empire's strength isn't just in its armies or its wealth, but in the consent of its people. The Aztec Empire was a dazzling, complex, and terrifying civilization. Their achievements in architecture, agriculture, and social organization were immense. But their reliance on military dominance and ritual violence created a foundation so brittle that it shattered at the first significant challenge. It's a reminder that empires built on fear are destined to one day face those they have terrorized. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of the Aztec world. It's a complex and fascinating piece of human history. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more incredible stories from the past, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what other historical topics you'd like to see covered. See you next time.